Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Okay, the Honorable Professor Dr. Rajkumar Singh as the keynote speaker today. The Honorable Alaf Committees Institute of Global Professionals, and my beloved ladies and gentlemen. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Indonesia, and Om Swastiastu. Welcome to our Institute of Global Professionals free webinar. Thanks for joining with us in this wonderful evening and stay with us till the end. First of all, let us pray and praise to our beloved. First of all, let us praise to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala because of His grace and mercy we can join together. And let us greet and pray to our beloved Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, who had brought us to the path of light. I am Winnie Puspitasari Suparto, doctoral student at Graduate Program State University of Makassar, South Sulawesi, Indonesia, as a host webinar today and a member of Institute Global Professional. Well, ladies and gentlemen, for the first point, what is IGP? As we know that IGP or Institute of Global Professional is an educational institution programmed to provide social work. We believe that Institute of Global Professionals serves students community resource, providing holistic social work and education for create a proficient generations. Well, we provide effective training and consultation to generate provisions. So, we expect that you all getting a little bit benefit in the personal and professional life. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I remind you, don't forget to share, like, comments this page, and please like, share, and subscribe YouTube channel Institute Global Professionals because your attachment encourage us to do better and best service to our lovely audience. Well, ladies and gentlemen, join us for the next webinar 760 entitled Case Writing, Case Analysis, and Case Teaching with the keynote speaker today, Professor Dr. Rajkumar Singh from India. Well, ladies and gentlemen, he is a Dean Center for Entrepreneurship, Innovation, and Skill Development. So, ladies and gentlemen, we invite Professor Dr. Rajkumar Singh. Where are you, Mr.?
So should I start?
Okay, yes, you can start. So, are you ready?
Yes, sure.
Okay, time is
So
yours,
thank you
Prof.
very much.
Yes, you
Thank
can
you. Thank you
presentation.
very much. Okay. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Ladies and gentlemen, today I would like to thank Mr. Kaushik Datta, Institute of Global Professional, and all the entire organizing team members for inviting me to have my deliberation on case writing, case answers, and case teaching. Rudyard Kipling has once said that we are having 6 honest friends who taught me all I know, and their names are what, why, when, who, where, and how. In teaching learning pedagogy, one of the very important aspects is case study. Because especially in the field of management education, commerce education, and to some streams of social science like psychology. It's very important to have a practical exposure of the things. As we all know, there are four pillars of academics. One, which is a very regular teaching and learning process which we do in the classroom. Second is the research and development, which is the ornament of any academia, training and consultancy, and academic administration. And this all has to move through the five helix model, that is academia, industry, government, society, and environment. They all have to work together to teach what exactly the requirement of the student, keeping in view of the requirement of the industry. As we all know, we are moving through industry 4.0, fourth industrial revolution. Likewise, we need to move through education 4.0 to cope up with the human skill requirement of the entire industry. And society is also moving on. See, in the field of engineering and technology or medical science, you have some physical object or human being with which you can experiment. For example, for an engineering course, for a BTech student or Bachelor of Engineering student, you are having some machine, some technology. Likewise, for doctors, those who are studying the MBBS, MD program, they are having certain human being. But for the management students or a commerce student, there is nothing like that. And you have to depend upon the case studies, which are basically a record of the earlier researches of some particular person, particular industry, some group activities, some social activities, some environmental issues, some problems, some issues, maybe in an actual situation or maybe in a hypothetical situation. And you keep yourself in that position and try to understand what has to be taken a proper decision. See, in the industry, for any student of management or commerce, since I also spent more than 2 decades in the industry, so I would like to say that they have to do only two things. They have to take a right decision in the right manner at the right time. And second, they have to ensure whether the decision is being executed properly or not. Because this decision making is the basic thing which one corporate profession has to do. But how they will take decision? People are having a limited experience. Even if your teacher has worked in the corporate world, they are having a limited exposure of industry. Maybe they have worked in one industry, two industry, three industry, four industry, maximum five industry. But when you go in the corporate world, you go in a very different way. You don't know in which kind of industry you are entering and what kind of problem will come in front of you and how will you solve that problem. See, in such situation, this is very important that whatever you are studying in the classroom, whether it's a marketing, whether it's a finance, whether it's HR, whether it's operation, or any other aspect, organizational behavior, you have to move through various cases which normally depends upon the real situation which has happened earlier. You just explore and analyze why it has happened. What were the consequences of that happening? What decision the management took, and whether they got success or not. If they got success, why? If they have been failed, why? So these are few of the things. So normally, if you go to any case study, just describe a specific situation where the people are engaged in a complex issue and they have taken decision in dilemma. Because decision is taken only when you are in dilemma. When you are crystal clear, then decision making process is not so difficult. But when you are in dilemma, whether you should do this or not, or whether you should do in such a manner or some other manner, then things are there. Normally, there is a basic drawback in our teaching learning process is that this is based upon the memory based learning. Normal. We have to remember some things and write in the examination, all these things. But we need to move towards the application based learning, where if you have told any theory, the student should understand how this theory will be applied in which kind of situation. And this is called the problem based learning. Because in industry, especially when they go, they are not supposed to raise only problem, they are supposed to give some solution. And when they go through such kind of problem based learning through the case study, they develop an ability to tell that what should be done in a specific situation. So normally the case studies are the action provoking, which are designed to present a problem that places a student in a shoe of a relevant decision maker to empathize the situation, so that they can analyze and give some proper recommendation in a specific situation. And here you take references from various aspects. You take a reference. Okay, in this company this has happened and such situation has occurred and this decision was taken and so on. So not only you describe a problem situation, but also include the chosen situation and outcome of the solution. And if a X decision has been taken, what was the result? And if Y decision would have been taken, then what can be the result? So in this way, what happens? The students review different type of cases and reason why a specific solution succeed or fail. Because case study is not just about the success story, it is about the failure stories. For example, Nano was a great result of innovation, great case of innovation, no doubt. But commercially it got failed. So from innovation front, it got success. To keep a car around 1 lakh rupees, it was a great innovation. But commercially it was failed because the entire venture was unable to understand the human psychology, exact consumer behavior. They thought that if you keep the price low, the middle class family will start buying the car. They have buy the car, but what happened? Because car, this is the mindset. I'm taking the example, Indian example, especially. This is the case where car, especially in this subcontinent, Indian subcontinent, if you see, including the India, Bangladesh, Nepal, Pakistan, Bhutan, car is a part of a status symbol. You cannot say that car is just a requirement or a necessity. It's a sort of a status symbol. So whether the car was able to fulfill the aspiration of the common man or not, if it was okay. But if it was not the case of fulfilling the aspiration of a common middle class family, this was the result of the failure. So through this reasoning process, because to develop a reasoning is important, through this reasoning process, students obtain a deeper understanding of all the relevant factors in a particular problem situation. So what happens? What value addition these cases do with the student? Very important thing is that the students come in an active learning mode. They're not passive. They're not just hearing you. They are contributing their thought process also, their viewpoint also, and they can connect the theory with the practical. So what happens? Cases present the students with the opportunity to analyze and solve relevant real-world practical problem, and to understand if any challenge is coming, how they have to face the challenge. They develop a critical thinking. They can understand the problem. They can interpret the connection of theory with practical. Real life corporate experiences and other situations they face, multi-dimensional and multi-function answers they have to do. Suppose some company has abruptly increased their market, expand their market, and they got failed. Why? For any entrepreneur, the biggest challenge is the upscaling of their market. When you scale up, you involve a lot of finance, lot of human resource requirement, lot of technological requirement. Without understanding this, if you just expand the market, you'll face a lot of challenge. So case studies help you in the decision versus execution situation. As I've told you, one person have one kind of experience, but with the various case studies which you study, basically you are having a lot of experiences. What you should do, what you should not do, what are the pros, what are the cons, and basic thing is the cause and effect relationship. In which decision, what would be its effect? So regularly, if you go through the success and failure stories, we can understand these things. So normally, when we teach the case studies in the classroom, normally we teach the real case studies. But sometimes, because sometimes companies don't allow to take your name, so you have to make a hypothetical case studies and take some hypothetical name also, like ABC Limited, XYZ Limited, or something like that. Now, what are the various types of cases? One case study is explanatory case. In the explanatory case study, the researcher seeks to answer a question that seeks to explain the relationship between the subject and the hypothesis. As I've given one example of nano, that what was the effect of a shape on the consumer behavior charts? This can be one. Another is the exploratory. There may be some cases where you can use the explanatory as well as exploratory both. There can be a multiple cases. You go with a multiple case study and then make a case. There can be an intrinsic case study. There can be an instrumental case study. But normally, if you take a good case, that is taken from a real life situation. You can change the name, but the situation should be same, because this will give a practical insight. And it consists of many parts. Each part usually ends with a problem of points for discussion. There may not be a clear-cut off point to the situation, but you should have a sufficient information to the reader or the student in this case, so that they can be having an ample information to give the solution of a problem. So it should be a believable, because if it is on the real situation, then it should be a believable case. But for any case study, the most important thing is it should be written by someone. Case writing. So for any academician, those who are here present, academician especially, This is part of your qualitative research, where everything is not just based upon the data, but based upon some other experiences also. Although in coming days you will have more cases based upon the data, because now the importance of analytics is increasing, and decision, we call it a decision science. The decision will be based upon the more upon the quantitative dimensions. But we cannot ignore the qualitative aspect, because quantitative dimension cannot give a complete picture. So we need to work together with both the things. So one of the utmost responsibility on the shoulder of an academician is how to do a case writing, because those who want to have a qualitative research part of their career, they must be having some in mind that how should I start writing a case? What are the steps to move for that? First step is that origin of the case. Means you identify the need. What kind of case you want to write? Why you want to write? Second thing, you establish that need. Whether actually this case writing is going to give benefit to certain cause or not. So you search for specific issues, some ideas, or individuals or organizations that can provide you sufficient information, because for case writing you need information. And when you decide, suppose you decide a company X, nowadays I am suggesting people that case study on the big companies has been written too much by too many people. You should focus on the local cases. Maybe some of the industry of your region has expanded very excellently, or they have expanded very excellently but they've fallen soon. In any of the case, you should choose that company. And third step is have an initial contact. Means you have to contact the concerned people, consulting persons. Suppose they are general manager, CEOs, their managing directors, their directors, because you need information, you need data, quantitative data as well as qualitative data. You may have to take interviews. Because next step, the fourth step is the data collection. So for data collection, obviously you all know you have to prepare some questionnaire, so that when you sit with them for the interview, you should move in a very specific manner, in a proper flow. So better you prepare a questionnaire for collection of the data and do a proper exploration. Here I would like to say a word of caution that don't enforce someone to give some data. They may have some confidentiality of the data. So try to gather the data which is available with them, which is either on their public domain. For example, if the company is a private limited company, public limited company, they must have submitted their balance sheet. That balance sheet is on the public domain. So take their permission and take all these data. Then you start the writing process. This is a very important aspect for any faculty, any academician, any researcher, to start writing for the case study. So what you have to do, you have to organize the data in a flow and present the data and information with the proper interpretation. And when you do this, take a proper permission, authentic legal permission from the person who is taking care of that organization in written form. Show them the case study. If they are not satisfied, change the things accordingly. Because your case study is very helpful for making or breaking of their brand image. And anybody, any company owner will not like to break the brand image. They are doing this to make their brand image. So better never manipulate with the facts, but take the permission. And then the sixth step is to release it in a particular journal. Now, what you have to do in a case writing process, because this is very important. You gather the data and all this in the case writing process. Case writing is a very challenging task, but the learning outcome that stem out from their use can be very rewarding also. So this involves a very complex and reflective endeavor, but great opportunity for a creative expression also. So what you have to do as a case writer when you start writing, you have to analyze the things, you have to evaluate the things, you have to interpret the data in a proper way and synthesize the information ideas so that the final outcome can be presented before a student in a classroom in a proper way. So this enriches one's teaching and learning process also. So when you start writing, this comprises of basically four activities. First is the planning activity. Second is the organizing activity. Third is the drafting activity. And fourth, which is very important in any writing process, is the revising. So when you are planning what you have to take care of, first thing, you identify the purpose of case writing task. Why you are writing this case? You should know about this. It is mere writing a case and publishing in some research journal. Is this your intention? Or from your case, someone can learn something. It can help someone's decision making process. One can have a critical thinking toward the solution oriented thinking and identify the learner's attributes. Because in a cognizance, the matching is very important, the mind matching. How the teacher is teaching and how the student is learning, this cognitive resemblance is very important. So for that purpose, the learner's attributes understanding is very important. Normally, we teachers know very well in our classroom how the student behaves and how the student behaves over a period of time. What was the behavior of student 10 years back? What was the behavior of student 5 years back? And what is their behavior in today's life, post-pandemic situation, going through the online education? Your teachers know this very well, and even students also know. And then you decide what information should be put into a case. Is an effective way to carry out the process to ask yourself question for each actions. So you become the student. You become the student, and when you think like an student, this empathy will help you. Then second aspect comes is organizing of the arrangement of ideas that support the purpose of the case. Because mere having an information is not important. What would be the flow of that information? What would be the sequence of that information? This is very important. So here the major concern is the narrative structure and presentation of the nature of complexity of the case. This is my personal advice for case writers, that it should be like a storytelling. Students should read it like a story, but it is not a story. It's a fact actually. So facts are being presented and narrated in such a form that when it is being told in the classroom, it should like a story time. Because you cannot superimpose your ideas in the mind of people, your students. They should feel that they should learn this. It should be like that. So when you tell the story, because there's a fact, it's not just a story, it's a fact. It should be told in such a way that the students should start believing on that story, and they should start placing themselves in that situation. They can visualize that situation. So in a teaching methodology also, you have to be very careful like that. And when you are narrating the case while writing it, present the nature of complexities of the case problem also in a simple way, because presenting the things simple is not simple. And keep in mind that information to be presented should justify the intention and the purpose of the writing task. So the different perspective of the interpretation has to be intermingled in entire cases. And in the next stage, when you decide about that flow, start drafting it. Drafting on the paper. I'm I'm saying this very specifically, drafting on paper, not on keyboard. This is a human psychology. When you start writing with a pen on a paper, the thought process will be different. This may be a difficult thing for you initially, but the best writing comes when you write with a pen on a paper. And organize the things proper way, plan it, and when you draft it, ask few questions from your side. Then what is the central idea of the case study? For example, I've given you an example of the nano car. What is the central idea? Why nano, being such an excellent innovation, got failed? In spite of all the theoretical dimensions, it was fulfilling. Good car with excellent feature, less space consuming, with a very reasonable price, one lakh rupees in Indian rupees, and with all taxes 1.25 lakh rupees, fulfilling all the aspects which one car needs, leave the safety standard, but it got failed. So this should be the center idea. And how should the center idea of the case be supported? So when this center idea is there, then you have to go for the consumer behavior side. You have to do, you have to understand how consumer was thinking that direction. So in such a cases, you have to go through some primary data also. And when you decide about all these things, then you have to revise, which is last but not the least. This involves the rereading, evaluating, making changes, some grammatical mistakes, some spelling mistakes, some alignment aspects. And this is advisable that you are revising the things, it's okay, but take someone else also with you. It's better to have a case writing with one or two people, more academicians. Because if there is a blot on my column, I cannot see this unless I have a mirror. So that your friend will act like a mirror. So this is how you proceed. And when you write and draft the entire case, ask few questions from you. First question, will the case produce the intended learning outcome? Means if a student read this case, whether this will help him to develop a decision making process. Are the problem issues presented in the case related to learning outcome? Is the case sufficiently complete, complex, and focused with all the information? Does the case present a situation, problem, or issue? Because this is a very important part. For any case, if the problem, issues are not defined properly, it's of no use. Does the case appears to be realistic? All the events and actions in the case sequence in a logical order or chronology. This is also very important. Are the events connected with the appropriate transitional signals? Where the transition took place, where the turnaround took place, where some U-turn has been taken or not. So in the content, it should be accurate, relevant, and approved. Now, when it comes to classroom, you made the case. The real challenge before any teacher is that how this case has to be analyzed in the classroom in the entire teaching learning process. Because the case study analysis, one will be analyzing, applying the knowledge, having a proper reasoning, and drawing a certain conclusion. So normally we call that when you do a case analysis in a classroom, you do a short cycle process and long cycle process. What is the meaning of that? Short cycle process means just go through a case in one shot, just read it. And the long cycle, you just go line by line, word by word, paragraph by paragraph, and try to keep every point noted somewhere, main points. Because ultimately, even in the examination process also, the student has to move through in this way. So now I will give you a detail of what are the steps of case analysis. And this should be the sequence in your case writing process also. The first very important is the introduction of the case. Whether you have introduced the case properly or not. Second is the background information of the case. For example, if you go with the nano case, you must have read or heard about the situation in which the idea has came in the mind of Mr. Ratan Tata. He was going somewhere in a car, you see that one small family, husband, wife, and two small kids, they were standing under a tree in a rainy season with a scooter, trying to save them from the rain. And the idea is just struck in the mind of Mr. Tata that why we cannot have a car just on the double rate of a scooter. At that time, scooters were coming around 50,000 rupees. So 1 lakh rupees. And we can sell to these middle class families on a very reasonable EMI and they can have a car. So this was the background. Then define the issues or problems, sub problems, or decision to be made. In different cases, this was a different thing. If you see a very classic case of industrialization of Maruti Suzuki Manesar plant, where an HR head was brutally killed by the laborers. Apparently seems to be a case of labor unrest. But was it the same thing? So you have to go through such kind of detailing. Then analyze the case data, the details in a proper way. Interpret the case data. Several options in front of you. and you are confused. As I've told you, when you are in dilemma, then taking a decision is a difficult task for you. So in such situation, what were the alternatives? And when you have to take a decision, you have to have some decision criteria. That okay, if these things will be fulfilled, I will take this decision. Suppose you have to purchase a car, you take certain, you are having certain decision criteria. Okay, this should be the price range, these should be the features, this should be the color, this should be the model, this should be the brand. So if you are having a five car options, on basis of your decision criteria, I choose one. So what are the alternatives and what are the decision criteria? And what you do next step, you evaluate, analyze, evaluate and select any alternate. So you have to first evaluate every alternate, analyze it, and then finally you select one alternate. And in any decision making process industry, when you select an alternate, what you do, you develop an action implementation plan and how it should be executed. Suppose whether you should diversify in the market or not, whether you should have a proper number of people with you or not, technology with you or not, money with you or not, and then you do the interpretation of the outcoming and shortcoming and what is its overall impact. So majorly the case sensitive steps involved in that part. And you have to move with every step one by one, try to explore the reasons. Suppose you are choosing that what should be the problem. I mean, what is the difference between problem subproblem? Problem is the core issue to which you are going to address, and sub problem are those problems which are arising from that core issue. So if any issue is there, you have to understand its importance and urgency issues. For example, what is the profitability situation? What is the strategic direction of the company? What is the competitive advantage? What is the morale of company's employees? What is the vision of customer satisfaction? And in such situation, if suppose you are framing a problem statement, then what should a company do? How can a company improve market share? So analyzing the data involves so many things. Maybe the feasibility analysis, maybe the SWOT analysis, or what is their strategic dimensions.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, sorry for maybe it's a bad connection. So we will waiting for Professor Dr. Raj Kumar Singh. Maybe it's a bad connections in his country. And for your information, guys, tonight there is no quiz competition, so we will open question and answer later when Professor Dr. Rajkumar has done for presentation. So we will waiting for you, sir. Okay, guys, for your informations, don't forget to share, like, comments this page, and please like, share, and subscribe YouTube channel Institute Global Professionals because your attachment encourage us to do better and best service to our lovely audience. Okay, so for now, we're still waiting Professor Dr. Rajkumar for continue presentations because still is not done. And for tonight, there is no quiz competition. So when after Mr. Rajkumar have done the presentations, we will continue and we open question and answer. Oh, okay. So a speaker disconnect, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, guys, the speaker disconnect or bad connections. Where are you, sir? Okay, good evening, everyone. I just read your comments on Facebook or YouTube. So if you have a questions, you can write your name and your questions letter when we open question and answer. Okay. Okay, guys. You can give answer about this question. Was the webinar beneficial in your studies? It means what is the benefit in your studies about this webinar? Maybe you get something new knowledge or idea from this webinar or not, or yeah, if you get something new knowledge, you can share your friends, family, or yeah, to another people because that is education webinar and always opened more in the morning sessions and then evening and afternoon. Yeah. And every today we have a different theme, different title for this night, entitled about case writing, case analysis, and a case teaching. So, uh, for the morning sessions or this morning sessions or tomorrow morning sessions, and then evening, afternoon, it's different topic again. Maybe we can discuss about mathematics or English language education, or yeah, writing, speaking, and etc. So if you get something new knowledge, you can share to another friends, and don't forget to share, like, comments this page on a Facebook Institute of Global Professionals, and please like, share, and subscribe YouTube channel Institute of Global Professionals. So wow, long time. Okay, guys, for your informations about the sessions, we wait 2 minutes per speaker. After that, we share certificate code. Yeah, maybe when Mr. Rajkumar doesn't come in this webinar tonight, we give informations, right? We give informations about certificate code, how to get certificate international. Okay, in IGP. Well, guys, I want to say that Happy Independence Day, Indonesia. Yesterday in my country, independence, 17 August. Okay. Okay, thank you, Facebook user. Always informative and educative sessions. Nice. And don't forget to share, like, and comments this page. Okay, great. Okay. Okay, thank you, everyone. I hope that you always love and like in everyday topics this webinar. Okay. Watching live. Okay. Facebook user. Okay. Hello, sir. Hello, sir. Can you hear me?
Okay, my voice is coming.
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes. Should I continue? Okay, I can
Okay.
continue.
Here. Okay. Yes, you can continue your presentation.
Sorry, because of technical problem.
Okay. No problem, sir. Yeah. Time is yours.
Okay, okay, okay. Sorry for that. Some technical problem was there. Uh, uh, so now the next step come is how you analyze the data. The analysis of data is very important part. And when you analyze it, you always keep in mind the problem, because analysis means that you have to give the solution of that problem. When you take a key decision, first thing is that profitability issues there. Suppose this is the problem, that how to improve the profitability, how to increase the sale, how to maintain the customer satisfaction, how to keep up with the risk parameters, what are the employees' morale. Accordingly, you recommend the things. Because in decision making industry, you have to recommend things. And it's all now. I am coming to one of the very important segment, which we call a case publication part. Because for any academician, just writing a case is not important. You have to get it published also. So when you are making the case in a form of a paper, the things start with affiliation, from which is abstract, have some keywords, then you give the introduction, then the background information about the case study, why the case study was created, the objective behind that. Then you define the issues, sub-issues, problems, and sub-problems, as I told you earlier. And then come the part of discussion. You interpret the case data in detail. You generate you select various decision criteria because for alternative you will analyze and evaluate every, do some interpretation about that, and see very important aspect, be some overall impact of that, and then you do a presentation of the finding, its conclusion, and its recommendation. In entire case analysis, if you are taking some secondary data, your references must be there, and references has to follow the APA format properly, and take care of the plagiarism. Plagiarism, you should not forget, because as per the new guidelines here in India under the University Grant Commission rules, the similarity index should not be more than 10%. So you have to follow the law of land and international rules. So accordingly, you have to understand what are the various APA parameters for the journal periodicals, and what are the parameters for suppose you are retrieving some data from the website, that you have to present it accordingly. On a technical specification front, normally any research paper is around 5,000 words, including abstracts, etc. There should be 1 inch margin from all sides. Preferably, you have to have a Times New Roman or Arial, whatever suits you, or whatever the journal indicates, because you have to go through the specifications of the journals also. Every journal is having their own technical specification. Heading should be of 16-point size, subheading 14, main text 12-point size. Line and paragraph is spacing 1.5 space is a standard one. But if any other specification is being provided by any journal, then you have to follow that specification. But it all depends on you, because what kind of journal you are choosing and what kind of specification the journals are having, these varies from journal to journal. And have a proper justification, center alignments. You have to see all these things. And sources must be mentioned in every data. The sources must be mentioned. Spelling mistakes should be avoided. Formatting should be strictly avoided. Use your own language. Never try to use the social media language, because this creates a problem in academic writing. Such kind of things should be strictly avoided. Where you have to use the bold letters, simple letters, underline letters, italics, this you have to be very clear. And always have a numbering of your tables and figures. So these are few of the dimensions which I have tried to given you on the basis of uh, given limited time frame, because this is a very vast topic and it may require several hours of deliberation. But in short, the case writing, how this case writing has to be done, what should be the case analysis, proper way of case analysis, and what should be fundamentals of the case teaching or case publications. This I've tried my level with informations. Thank you very much for listening me patiently. And if you have any question, I would be happy to answer that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, sir, for your presentations tonight, and thank you so much because you have done to share your knowledge, your experience about how to get the solutions, case writing, case analysis, and case teaching as a teacher. So that's interested for your topic. Well, ladies and gentlemen, for the next sessions, okay, sorry. Okay, next for the next sessions, we open question and answer, and for the sessions, there is no quiz competitions. So, if you have questions, you can write your name, your country, and your question, and I will invite the speaker will answer it. Let's start. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, for these sessions, we open question and answer. If you have a question for this topic about case writing, case analysis, and case teaching, please write your name, your country, and your questions. Okay, so any questions for this topic, guys? Okay, do you have questions, everyone?
I think there is no question.
Oh, okay, I get one questions. Okay, wait. Okay, for the first question, for the first questions for you, Prof. Here
Okay.
from Joy, Joaquin Fernando. The question is, in choosing case writing or case analysis, are you required to be an expert on your desired topic? Okay, so I
Okay.
invite you, sir. Time is yours.
Okay. Good question. Good question. I don't think you should be expert, but two things are very important. First thing is that you should be having interest in that area, because if the area is interesting to you, you can do the things, do the case writing properly. Second thing, you must have the interdisciplinary knowledge, because in any decision making process, on every decision, many other factors are dependent. So what are the various variables which can be affected on that part? For example, I've given you the one example that suppose a company that failed while expansion. The reason may be that while expansion, you'll have to expand your human resource also, your technology also, and this will have an impact on your financial part also. And maybe all of a sudden you have to increase your production also, so you have a burden on the raw material part also, accessories also, and this will increase your market outstanding also. So if the cash inflow is less and cash outflow is more, you will be trapped in a bad debt. So this kind of interrelation of various function dimension must be very much clear to you. So this is very important when you are writing a case and even analyzing case. So if you are having an interest and interdisciplinary knowledge, you can establish a connectivity, interrelationship, then anybody can do that. It is not important that you should be expert in marketing or expert in finance, because in the management there is not a watertight compartment. Even if you are having an aggressive marketing, it will affect the production also, it will affect the finance also, it will affect the HR also, it will affect the technology also. I hope I'm clear to you.
Okay, thank you so much, sir, for your good answer. So, any else question for Professor Rajkumar Singh for this topic?
Yes, please ask
Okay,
if you have
Prof.
anything in your mind.
Yes, Prof. Okay, well, can I question? Can I
Yes,
question for
yes,
you, Prof?
yes. Why
Okay,
not?
so
Why not?
actually, actually, I interested your topic. So, today I have a question for you, Prof. As a
Hmm.
teacher, sometimes we found that students lazy to writing, right? Okay, to writing. So, how to encourage students to get motivations to writing? Okay, so I hope Prof answer my questions. Thank you.
See, this is not your case. This case is prevailing everywhere, all around the world. Even in India also, we are
Yeah.
facing same kind of problem. And to which country you belongs to? Which country is yours? You are from which country?
Yes, I'm from
You are from which
Indonesia.
country? You are from Indonesia. Oh, I understood that. So even Indonesia, you are facing the same problem. In India also, we are facing the same problem. Uh,
Yes, but
well,
uh,
as I've told you that we are living in the era of education 4.0, but before that, we are living in the era of society 4.0. So now you are seeing in even in Indonesia also, in India also, we are more on the social media and less in the
yeah,
society. Okay. So of course, social media is having its own importance, no doubt. But what I feel personally that if a student choice we understand properly, and then we promote them that they should write the topic of their own choice, then they can write in a much better way. What we do, we give some topic and then tell them that okay, you write. So better, like for example, if you take a case study. So instead of giving one case study from our side and tell them to discuss on that part, we can say that okay, you come with your case study, search on the net, you come with your case study on this topic, and then we will discuss. I think they will feel that this is their case study. I normally teach entrepreneurship and we help them to make a business plan. So I never give them idea. I say that okay, you come with your idea, your business idea, and then we will tell you how to make a business plan on that. So they get involved themselves, indulge with themselves. So we have to understand the choice of the student. Although I know in a classroom it is very difficult to take care of every student choice, but few choice, 10 to 20% student will come forward, and if you see that the rest class will also be interested to come forward for that. So this is one thing which I think this will help you.
Okay, thank you so much, sir, for a
Thank
great
you.
answer for me. Well, for the audience, any questions again? Or maybe there is no questions? Is it clear, guys? Okay, so I think is it clear? So thank you so much, sir, for your
Thank you.
valuable time because you have done to share your knowledge and your ideas about this topic, case writing, case analysis, and case teaching. So thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Well,
Thank you.
ladies and gentlemen, I remind you guys, please like, share, and subscribe YouTube channel Institute Global Professionals. And don't forget to share, like, comments this page on Facebook Institute Global Professionals because your attachment encourage us to do better and best service to our lovely audience. So, time is over for this session. So, I will give you information, guys. I will give you informations about how to get a certificate coding. So, okay, check it out. Okay, here webinar number 760, program name, case writing, case analysis, and case teaching. And the webinar code or the password is IGP3032. Okay, remember guys, please note if you want to get a certificate, uh, webinar number, the sessions 760, and then the program name is case writing, case analysis, and case teaching. And the password or the code is IGP3032. Okay, certificate code IGP3032. Okay, thank you so much, Alan Brutas. You helping me. Okay, so time is over, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. And just remind you, if you like or if you get some knowledge about this topic, please like, share, and subscribe YouTube channel Institute Global Professionals. And don't forget to share, like, comments this page on Facebook. Yeah, Institute Global Professionals, because your attachment encourage us to do better and best service to our lovely audience. And don't forget to mantra, fit your skill. So I'm so sorry I forgot that. Okay, so I think enough. Thank you so much, guys. Stay safe, stay healthy, and see you.